Okay. What we're doing today is phrases for translating verbal and algebraic expressions. And if you open your paper this way and you fold it down like this, you should have it like this. I kind of messed up on the spacing, so that means that addition is supposed to go over here. Subtraction is supposed to go over here. Multiplication, I just messed it up. I printed it a little wrong. And so on. If you open it up, that means the first section is supposed to be addition. All of these words mean addition, plus, and is still putting things together. A total of is a little bit different than just saying total or the total is. If you happen to have a highlighter, this would be a good time to get it out. Okay, so we're going to highlight total of, because that's a little bit different than saying the total. This is the total of adding things together, only of the addition part. Altogether, makes. Increase by, we should know all of these terms that just mean addition. The next little section is subtraction. We should know take away, fewer, minus, decrease by, shared. That means that you're going to give some to someone else. But what I want you to highlight is this less than. This less than is important because what it does is change the order. You don't have to write this down, but I'm just going to give you an example of what I mean. When you write 10 minus 7, it's easy when you use the word minus, but when you use the word less than, we have to change the order. So the words would be 7 less than 10. So you took 7 away from to make it less than 10. And that's what I mean by changing the order. This is what you had, and this is what you write. All right, the next one means multiplication. We should know all of these words, but we're going to make a little bit of notes on the double. On the double. What does it mean to be double? 2. Very good, times 2. What does it mean triple? Times 3. Product multiplied. The other one that I want is twice. What does twice mean? 2 times. Very good. All right, so I'm using this notation because we are not supposed to use the dot anymore. We're supposed to use parentheses, but right now it's kind of hard to say times 2 just with the parentheses, and that's why I use that notation. The one I want you to highlight is this one, a factor of. The reason that I want you to highlight the factor of is because sometimes when the thing you're multiplying can be a fraction. So let's say 1/3. And that's an example. Which is really division, but we can express it as a multiplication. Next one, division. On division, we're going to multiply this quotient. Especially for multiplication, it means the same thing when you do 3 times 4 and 4 times 3. It doesn't change the value that you're going to get. But in division, the order matters. So I'm going to put a little arrow this way and say order matters. Okay, so what am I talking about? If they say the quotient of 1 and 3, that's how they're going to express it with the and, 1 and 3, the 1 goes first, making it a numerator, and then putting that second number as a denominator. So I'm going to put written first. Whatever is written first becomes your numerator. We also need to be careful with things like percent, because percent sometimes is written as a whole number. So, for example, 50%. But what they want you to use is 0.5. Using 0.5 will look like multiplication. It will look like multiplication. But it could also be written as that fraction, 1 divided by 2, which is division. Fractions are division. All right, so we got all of these on here that means equal. Is, are, all the conjugations of is will still be an equal sign. Together, all together, total, is the total, all of those words will being equals. And then on here, we have times the sum. I want you to notice that it's asking you to multiply after you added. So right here, we do the same thing twice, which we know it means multiply after we added. So in all of these, they want you to do an operation first and then multiply. So if you'll fold it over. That means addition will always be a plus sign. Subtraction will always be a minus. But no longer are we going to use this dot. We don't even use the X anymore because it looks like the letter X that we can use during these expressions. So what we're going to do is use parentheses. So I'm going to have an example on here. 3 times X. And I use the X on purpose so you can tell that X means a letter here. And a letter is used to say something that is not known. It's an unknown. Right. In mathematics, this symbol right here means implies. 3 times X can also be written this way. It doesn't have a notation. It's just something that we should know that these two things are being multiplied together. So no longer are we going to use the X. No longer are we going to use that dot. We're going to use parentheses to indicate multiplication. Division. Ooh, we no longer use that symbol. We're going to use a fraction bar. So I'm going to put 3 divided by X. Fractions are division. Okay, the other thing that we talked about was equals, all the vocabulary for equals. And then parentheses. Parentheses means that you want to do something first and then multiply. So you can't forget that this also means multiply. It can mean multiply. It doesn't have to be multiply. It just wants you to do the things inside those parentheses first. But sometimes it implies multiplication, and then that's why I want you to write it down, is because sometimes it doesn't specifically tell you. We should just know. For your tests and quizzes, you can use your notes. You can use this spiral. So make sure that it's on your spiral to be able to use for your tests in this class. This section is called section 1.1. Translating. Hello. Verbal expressions. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to staple it on here so you have it for your notes.